D-Boy, West Coast Uncensored. How are you all doing over there? And uh, did my video, dropped it yesterday. We did a Gnostic Gospel, the Apocalypse of Adam. Well, that's what we did. We read some of the Apocalypse of Adam. How the details change when you take on another perspective of things that were hidden from us from hence the beginning of Christianity. These other words, gospels, books kept out on purposely by them that actually associate that we keep saying a religious group. It's a political group playing or acting as if they're a religious group. Oh, they're religious, but what is the religion they're taking part in? Hmm. What was the religion they're taking part in, and what are they really into, and what are they really about? But anyways, we went into that. What I want to talk about was today is the more and more I kind of see as we've entered this new age, and this will kind of be. I'm going to post this on definitely on YouTube. It's going to be a short. I'm not going an hour or nothing like that. This will definitely be a short. That's why I'm not going live with this. Trying to figure out how not to go live with certain things I don't want to go, and I think I found out how to maybe even add stuff here. But have you ever noticed that when you get into certain things that you have um, the more and more I look, the more and more I see, the more and more I get revelations, the more and more I put the puzzle together of things in plain sight in front of us. Whether with a lot of politics, with a lot of claiming and naming, right? And a lot of this stuff that you start looking at. And I start really looking at this and really start going through the process of decoding, discerning, and putting the puzzle pieces together, what fits and what really doesn't fit. And as I was doing that, and I was thinking the other day how I've been on this thing about seeing how everything that is said to us through politics, through the system, right, to do certain things, always has this aspect. I'm gonna move that a little bit. That's why I shook. Has this aspect. And we seen it when we had a war on drugs. Drugs got worse, right? Anytime that something's proclaimed to do something, it's never beneficial through it, or people make the jokes later. Hey, maybe we ought to do a war on the rich, so and then everybody will get rich, right, or benefit from it. Or we've had a war on drugs. Then we have somewhat of a war with social justice. And I'm really looking what social justice did, how it was conformed, and what came out of it to how certain things now, where somebody may say, oh, no, I wasn't taught this type of mindset, but you didn't have to. It was indoctrinated in your culture already. And then you don't realize you speak the language, or your realization, your self-awareness, and knowing things that you're always trying to deflect something that may be true instead of taking it on as information to look into it, or start decoding it. And why I say that, I'm looking at more recently through AI. I did a video on ID, digital ID. We have a lot of people that won't think twice and be okay. Sign me up. Come on, we will. Um, Not knowing, and that's a problem. Not knowing what comes with that. Also, I just noticed that through this AI governance and through this AI world, which I really, my take, I associate the AI as the demiurge. I do. And you go, well, there's good things about it, D, and that God of that demiurge said he created good and evil for his purpose, not necessarily your purpose. Wink, wink. See through the, and like I said, many people will tell you the truth in spaces. And I was just looking through this and looking how we have so many people that are put in us for attention through, especially with social media. Social media has contributed to the lack, along with social justice, feminism, and all these programs that have been running some 60 years into what comes from it. That when I had to, even for relationships with the depopulation aspect of depopulation of children not being born, if you don't know that it's spiraling down like a lead balloon, you don't know what's happening. You're lost in your world. And what comes up when you start, very soon, when you start having a heavily depopulation, that it only takes a few generations that you start seeing the results spiraling, not in your behalf or your honor. Then I started looking how through this that we have this great divide through social media, people not connecting soul on soul, because this great divide has nothing about art. It's nothing homogenizing about it in the sense. It's nothing about organic connection and energy. It's about artificial appearing to be as real shit. If I could just take it to the streets and call it real shit. That what we see happening actually is not what it is. And you may say, what do you mean? We see the lack of relationships. I do a men's group of 30 to 40 years olds of men I talk to. A couple of them married, and some not. Most not out of the group. I think 2 are married. A couple are in relationships, but how men observe relationships now with what they call modern women or feminist, because how it's been taken out of pocket into the programming and how the programming is effective. Now this goes into a deeper thing with AI and what's coming and what's doing, is that we're being locked through AI in our own digital AI prison, that you have the keys and you're actually locking your own door, and then give the keys to the guard after you lock yourself in, not knowingly, not willingly. I look at this as, even when you start looking at situations of think about it, when you start looking at people telling you the truth, right? Because anybody could tell you the truth. Even A Few Good Men, Scarface, when he says, Scarface, being the bad guy, said, I'm the bad guy, but he told the truth. Or A Few Good Men, the one who's mentioned it in that movie was not the good guy. He was not the few good men, but he told you a truth. Not many folks can deal with the truth. And I started looking at the bridges we're gapping, and I'm starting to look more and more at how social media. I've left Facebook, I left TikTok, because I've seen this as it's starting to resonate more and more in my spirit of the web that we're actually putting out, like Charlotte's Web. We're putting out a web, and that web is locking in our own demise. And they know it. It was their plan from all the social media stuff. It made people really become not literally feasible of humans dealing with humans on a one-to-one basis. That if I met a girl in live time and I said, hey, you want to go on a date? We went on a date, not on some freaking app or not on some freaking social media where I just said, oh, this one, I swipe right and this guy looks cuter and he's stronger and he's taller and this girl looks that. And then it causes all this mayhem because none of it's real. It's fraudulent. It's fakery. It's illusionary. It's Maya to its highest degree of AI. Can you do some good things? Yes, because in this reality, even Yadabaoth can give you good and evil. A very, very much a politician can sit there and tell you the truth. Either side can tell you something that's true. But yet, doesn't mean they're on your team or looking out for the best of you. Or when it all came said and done, they're not going to be there around. They're going to be in their plush place hiding out when shit goes down. And when I start looking at this, I'm starting to look at this because more and more, me personally, I don't like the internet. I freaking can't stand it. You say, well, you're making these videos. I'm making these videos to say this, but more and more I'm seeing the trap, the illusionary positions it's brought these younger people in who never ever dealt it without it because many of them have never seen a world without this stuff. And they will easily, coherently put together with a fake freaking shit, like putting a freaking thing in your head and drilling it in there, fake heart and mind coherence that's not real, that's fraudulent, not organic, to bind yourself in your own web or lock your own jail cell, right? Many will do that. Many did that during COVID. COVID was a trial run. You know what the vid was? To see how obedient you guys would be. And a bunch of clowns, of course, just, yes, master. And I'm sorry to say that, offend you that. I'm saying that because you know what? That's horrible to feel that way with a government because out of anybody and anything, those are the worst things. The word government means mind control in etymology. Govern means control. Meant means mind. It's that simple. And you're saying, well, they're lying, they're doing this. They're actually doing exactly what they're called. They're actually doing what they're called. Mind control. When I really look at like espionage, CIA, FBI, whatever these different agencies are, they're all about mind control, military complex with the CIA. And guess who they're really working on the mind control? It ain't the freaking enemies outside the borders. The mind control is on you within the borders. Domestic. But this is everywhere domestically in a place near you. And the reality of what's going to happen, man, you still don't know. There's a lot waking up. I know it, and the waking up's on many different levels. Some are waking up just to leave the freaking one side of the political side they've been on for decades, maybe even 6 decades, and haven't came to the realization you left the side that did screw you with the plan from the beginning racially. But the other side and them are in cahoots. That side's job was to do this. And if you really know, and I'm going to look at that, just think about this. In the whole world, we were told history repeats itself in the world. And another thing is, if we go into Francis Bacon, the whole world's a stage. So I was looking at this video that this girl played that I wanted to play here and I can't, but I maybe could have. Now that I look that I could hit this part and maybe even add. I need to do this and just check this out in the future. I'm not going to do it today. I may do it when I'm done just to do a trial run. It looks like I can maybe add videos or add Google searches right there. Why not do it now? But what I'm saying is, how many of you know actors have acting names? Right? It's something that goes with it. What if I told you it's not only in acting, it's in politics? That Barack Obama's Barry Soetoro? And he's not the only one, isn't the name that he actually is. I just seen a video and I haven't deep dived on it yet, but this is what I deep dived and wanted to share, but I wasn't going live to share it, but I'm thinking I could have shared it now, was the fact that this girl had a channel that I watched, and she broke down some prime ministers from Israel and showed you, and some other folks from Israel, that they changed their name. Say my name, say my name. Oh, you can't because I changed my name. Think about this. Actors act. They also get an acting name. So don't be surprised when you say Kamala Harris. Probably not her name. Donald Trump? Probably not, because actors act. Why I'm saying this, when you look at the whole world's a stage, this is the illusionary of Maya. Maya, illusion. The goddess of illusion is media. Medea. That's why when you seen what's his name, the actor who played that part of Medea. The word Medea is a goddess name, a goddess of illusion, which is connected to media. But Medea is the goddess, I believe, Roman. I could be wrong exactly which culture, but it's the goddess of illusion. Illusion in the wood, illusion in the stage, illusion in the games. So we just had this big arrests last week, and then they're coming down the FBI and finding out a bunch of the NBA players were betting on games and throwing games and possibly betting. And this thing is just getting started, from what I'm hearing. That there's a lot more to come, even into the other sports. Um, how everything's kind of, when a society falls, it kind of reveals itself about how it was really all built on sand. It was built on illusion and lies. The house really wasn't built on a good foundation from the beginning. It was all based on things that really were not organic, like stealing somebody else's land, and then moving people to another place they're really not from. And that would be half of my family being European, and then my dad's not definitely is not is from his family was from Mexico, and not to put down on, because I don't hold white guilt. I'd never had any slave, and only 1.5% of people that are Caucasian ever own slaves. Let's get that fact straight. But here's the thing is with it, when everybody ends up being collateral damage, and that's really what comes out of this. The society is collapsing. They told you in movies, London's falling. London's actually falling faster ahead of us right now. And many people don't know what's even happening in the UK. And they keep you stupid. And if you aren't open to being smart and believe in everything your nightly news tells you, or the left side tells you, or the right side tells you, when they're the same bird, one bird, two wings, same bird. It's almost like when you're the whole world of stage professional wrestling, baby face and heel, but behind the stage they could be best friends. Um, Everything starts coming out. So why I brought up the sports thing, I've known for about 4 years that sports is rigged. I was a sporto man. I coached football. I played football. I coached basketball. I played basketball. I coached baseball. I played baseball. I've coached girls softball. I did this and raising. I was raised in my family as a freaking sporto. Sport was supreme in our family. It was top notch. It mattered more than almost anything else. We were all sport heads. I mean, I was taught it, raised it, but when I really woke up in the middle of, in the 20s and learned gematria through the vid seasons, besides seeing that everything was in the vid or in gematria in every aspect, from politics to religion to everything that it was controlling, and how sports was rigged. I knew it was rigged. I've known for a few years it's rigged. That's why I really don't watch it no more. I don't stay on gematria channels 24/7 because I know there's more spirituality for individuals. Gematria is actually just knowing coding outside of yourself about the reality, but gematria won't necessarily give you deeper spiritual understanding and doing the spiritual work. That's where I see, and some people do work. It's just one. Some people do multiple things of work, like a Seven Bomar Sanchez. I try to do multiple layers of stuff here. I'm not a one. I'm going to push more spirituality and growth for individuals to receive their power, to wake up and start knowing who they really, 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 really are. Not a half-witting them, that you will know as you're known, and knowing yourself through that mirror reflection of the holographic mirrored reality that we do abide in. So I'm here to tell you, I more and more can't stand the internet and what it's caused and what it does and what it's produced from it, and how it's created almost NPC type of individuals, an AI type of individual, almost a soulish type of individual. And I will share that on a next video very soon and go more in depth in that. You guys have a great day.